Okay, good afternoon all. Hope everyone is well. Hope everyone's had a relaxing weekend and ready to go. So, no news today. Monday, so we've got a full week this week. We had it was Martin Luther King Day last Monday, so it was a shorter week. So far, a little bit choppy. Just been looking at the daily, so it's hard to say now. We could continue on up, or we could come back. I kind of like to... hey, Speedy, how you doing? I'd kind of like to come back and test the top of this range. It often does, so it's hard to say at the moment, so we're just going to have to keep an eye on that. So it could continue up. I finished early on Friday, and we had a really strong day Friday, so it could do... I mean, it doesn't often just push out like that without at least coming back and trying to retest this, but we'll have to say... So we'll just keep an eye on that. Market is due open in around about 2 minutes. So, Speedy, how you doing, bud? Exponential, how are you? Rodian, how you doing, bud? So, are you back off holiday, Rodian? Or are you still away? Dubai. Bali, I think you are, aren't you? Well, you were. You're back in Melbourne, are you? Okay. That's a bit of a contrast, isn't it? So, excellent. I think we're about... Oh, no, it's okay. It's all right. I was just thinking cricket then. I was going to say we're playing Australia next week. It's India we've got, isn't it? Okay, so we've got a touch and a touch and a touch. Let me have a look and I can adjust this. This is on the NQ. Touch, touch and touch. So we may come down and test these bottoms. If I can get a lower high here, I may take a short there. I kind of like that. But the market is due open. And it's about 40 seconds away. So I'm just going to have to be careful of this. Don't trade while on vacation. I think the intention's there, isn't it? Because I've thought about it myself. But... yeah, I mean, really, and to be honest with you, I'm a bit of a workaholic in a way, but I can't tell you how much better I felt having a break at Christmas. So I think holidays, they are there for a reason. So yeah, I know what you're saying. It's tempting, isn't it? But I think it's good to take that break. I think it does you. I think it does you a lot of good. So this looks like it may come down. So let's see if we can get a lower high. I've got to be careful not to get trapped, which is why I wait for the lower high. So let's see. This could push up. Let's have a look. Okay. Market is open.
Order
let's
submitted.
Have a look. Let's just keep an eye on this. Let's stick it up there out the way. Market is officially open. Okay, NQ, leg and a leg. So I'm not thinking about going short here at the moment. So let's just get rid of that
cancelled.
Order. Okay, there's leg and leg. It could still come down, to be honest with you. It depends. We'll have to keep an eye on this. I'm certainly not thinking about going short at the moment. Leg and a leg. Yeah, it's not really giving me any information at the moment. It could possibly have a couple of legs up and come down. It's a bit hard to say. We've had 2 legs currently, so whether it does come down or whether it pushes up, it's not really giving us anything at the moment, so we're just going to have to sit tight. Okay, so it's looking to me like this is continuing on up, so perhaps this is just a break from here. This is looking sideways, this is looking more bullish. So, okay, bit of a spike there. So let's see if we can get a higher low here. My only slight concern is we've got this bit of a channel here, break, quite likely going to get a new high, but we've also got a channel here, so we could get a leg and it could come down. So Let's see. So I was hoping for a second entry short to trigger and then maybe go higher above it, but no setups, unfortunately. I think it's likely we're going to break higher than this. So that does look like a channel with a break and a new high, but just going to have to sit tight at the moment. The ES is quite a bit away from the EMA, so it may come back to it, and if it does, let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, I've thought about... See, I suppose I've spoken to a guy before who trades when he goes on holiday, and what he does is he goes for an extra week. And how he sort of compensates for that is he trades when he's out there. He just does an hour a day. So, you know, it technically pays for a longer holiday, doesn't it? But yeah, I suppose it depends on who you are, really. It depends, you know, if you've got a wife that's quite happy to ditch you and get off and do some shopping, it might work out okay. Me and my wife like our own space. You know, it works well for us. So, you know, maybe that might work for us. But I think it is important. You know, I said when I came back after Christmas, I will periodically take a week off throughout the year at a time, you know, every 3 or 4 months, maybe, even if I'm not going away, because I think it's got benefits. It is quite stressful trade. Well, certainly what we do, scalping, or what most of us do, scalping, it can be pretty stressful. So I think it's important to take a break. Let's have a look. So, okay, so we've made a new high. So, looking at the daily, there is a possibility we could get 3 nice big bars there. So that could continue on up, in which case there may end up being some form of a bigger channel here. Maybe not just yet, I don't know. But we are starting to look a bit bullish. What you wrote there, it was fun the first day. 100 times 10, walking up and down the beach and state euphoria. Yeah, I remember you saying. Yeah. Yeah, I think it's good to take a break. I mean, if you're okay financially, you know, you can afford to take the time off, then, you know, no issues, I don't think. But yeah, I suppose it depends on who you are. I mean, if you've been making consistent money for 3 or 4 years from your trading, then maybe you could do it. But you know, if you're like me and still sort of getting there, it you might just benefit from a complete break. It's hard to say, isn't it, really? Everyone's different. I know Mac talks away. He likes to get away, doesn't he? I know he fishes and stuff like that. So I think it is important to get away and to take a break from time to time. I never really considered that too much until I took 10 days of Christmas. That's the first time in 3 years I've been away from the charts for over maybe 3 days. Obviously, with the exception of, you know, Christmas Day, Christmas Eve, Boxing Day. But it's the first time I've actually taken a long break. You know, I remember last year I traded 27th, 28th, 29th, I think. But I had the complete break, and I've really felt refreshed because I was a bit frustrated. I'd just lost an account. And the trouble is, when you're going through that sort of time where you're blowing accounts, you feel constantly frustrated and constantly on edge. And the trouble is, when you're like that every day, it's very easy to make rash decisions out of frustration. You know, when we're frustrated and angry, we're not good to do anything really, and obviously trading, definitely not. So I think it's good to get away and have a complete break, and I definitely felt the benefits from it, and I feel like I've come in leaps and bounds since then. I'm not as stressed in trades at all. I'm not constantly looking at the amount. I'm not working out how many more trades I've got to go. I wish I hadn't bought my laptop. In fact, I was going to talk to a couple of you guys about that. See, I've just got one computer, a trading computer, and I've got 4 screens. And I built my computer around about 2.5 years ago. It's still pretty quick. It's a Ryzen 7. It's got, I think I've got a 2060 hard drive, GeForce, whatever it is. It's a good quality motherboard. I got 34 gig of RAM. It's all good quality parts. I didn't hold back. I bought good quality everything. So it's still, you know, it's nice and quick. I never have any issues with lag. But I was just thinking the other day, what happens if it goes down? What do I do? Now, I'm not a backer-upper. I've never really backed anything up. Now, there's obviously a way to completely back your hard drive, so you can just literally clone it and slap it. I'm assuming if you slap it straight into another computer, if something goes wrong, it works exactly the same. But I need to look into it really, because I'm just starting to become aware of how many bits of software I've got on here which are vital. You know, NinjaTrader, the updates. I've got Replicanto, including all the updates. You know, there's a few other bits and pieces which, you know, I've accumulated, this bar size counter and a bunch of other things that if I lost them, I wouldn't quite know where to get them again. You don't want to have to spend days looking for stuff, do you? See, I've got this algo tick on the... let's have a look. So I've got this order line decorator chart enhancer. I've got Mac stuff. To be honest with you, my membership of Max is finished, so I won't be able to get that again. So it'd be nice to be able to back everything up. So I'm going to have to look into that. Although I'm quite computer savvy when it comes to backing stuff. I mean, my iPhone, I'm constantly getting messages to back it up, and I've just never bother. And it's the same with computers, because I've never deemed it valuable enough information to have to really worry about it. But obviously this, is likely to be my livelihood before long. So I think you can do Max for them for £10 a month and get the stuff back. Can you really? Oh, that's interesting. Because I had a year with Mac, and then I had 6 months off, and then I decided to go back for another year because I wanted to continue to go over the basics, and that's just finished now. So I didn't realise that. That's interesting, because, all the videos, I've watched them multiple times. So I'll have to look into that. But I don't need all the, the videos again, but that's pretty good. £10 a month. I mean, it's only £125 a year, isn't it? Or $125 a year. But the trouble is, we accumulate all these little extras, don't we? And then if something goes down with your computer, you're kind of screwed without them. So I'm just wondering whether we're going a bit sideways now. I'm thinking that that's a channel, and we've had a break in a new high, so this looks like it may be going down, and on here there's an overshoot. So I'm getting the message that we may be coming down. This is looking leg and a leg like it may be bearish. We do seem to be going down, up, so it's almost ranging at the moment. So if this comes down, I expect this to. So there is a second entry short there, which I'm very tempted to take.
Order submitted.
Let me just have a look what's going on here. So we've had an overshoot. I expect this to come down. Trouble is, we're almost down at this second leg, and if we do finish this second leg, we may start to work up. Okay, I'll see if this will get me on a limit order. No, it's gone without me, I think, isn't it? It's too late now, I think. We've more or less made these two legs.
Order cancelled.
If I'd have got that there on a limit order, that's where 2 points, I'd have gone for 6 ticks, I think, to get out before the bottoms on a limit order. We've got 2 legs down here. Trouble is, we're nearly at the bottom here now, so I think it's just too late to get in there. But on a limit order, I don't think that was a bad trade. It's a second entry short. We've got an overshoot. We've pushed up. I'd expect to come down at least to the EMA. But I didn't want to take it there. I want 6 ticks, but I want enough space to get out. So I thought that was a good trade, actually. So let's see if I'd have got me 6 ticks. I'm pretty sure it's going to come down and leg, which should take us, yeah. So that would have comfortably got 6 ticks. Well, it would have got 2 points actually, but yeah. So even if you'd have taken it, let's say a tick under there, you'd have got 2 points anyway. So I do see these types of things now and think, yeah, sometimes they're worth doing it, but we got a leg up there, clear overshoot. A lot of times we'll come back, retest the highs. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, locking in there, and a pretty bearish bar. So I'd take that down to here, and it worked like I expected it to. Unfortunately, it didn't come back and get me. So let's put a mist on there. But I think that was an okay trade there, personally. How does the wider channel? Well, if there is a wider channel, you'd expect this to come down to here anyway. But my issue is there we got a leg up and a leg up, and it's a clear overshoot. We got a leg. Once this started to break, whence? That word? When this started to break below here, I'm thinking second leg down. So this looks bearish now. With the overshoot, we often come back and retest. There's a second entry short there. I like that, but I didn't want to get in there. I wanted to get out plenty before the bottom, but it worked anyway. So yeah, I tend to avoid these bigger channels just yet, but let's have a look. Yeah, it's probably let's have a look. Yeah, maybe something like that. Fits nice at the top. We've got a touch here, close enough there. So it's probably working okay. So not only that, we're at the top of this area here. We've been right to the top. But the fact of that overshoot, so we've got a channel up here on the NQ. We've got a clear break there and a push up. And then we came back sharply. It went straight through the EMA. So I expect a retested. And once I've said it again, when that broke below that bearish bar, for me, we were coming down for a second leg, and with the overshoot there and the second entry short, and we're clearly struggling to get above, I think that was a good area to take a trade personally. Now, whether that would sort of fall in with a max category, but what I will say is when you've been trading a while, at some point, you'll start to take trades that use sin patterns and, you know, so I've got no issues with taking trades like that now. Actually worked out quite kind of nice, but you know, failed second entry long. Yeah, I wouldn't be taking a short down here now, because I think we've had a good enough push now. So if this is a channel and we've got an uptrend now, I don't really want to be thinking about taking a short just at the moment. I don't know, after a while, I find nowadays I don't have to tend to look too much. I can just have a glance and get a feeling. And for me, we had a bunch of touches here. You can say a touch there. But then that was an overshoot. We came right up to the top of here if you class that, and then it just when we came down and we had 1, 2, 3, 4 touches in a bearish bar. For me, we were coming down to the bottom of this range here, and there is a range. Let's have a look. So we got a touch. We got 1, 2, 3, 4 touches there. We're clearly going sideways, and I like the way we came back, touched on the underside. So for me, that was an okay to take a trade. But to be fair, by the time I took that trade, we were halfway to the bottom. So I just prefer to take it with a limit order. So if I went a tick above and a tick below, actually, it's a very small risk. It's smaller than I thought it was. So let's say tick below and a tick above, 1.75 point risk. If I'd have realised that, I would have taken it. But I like getting out, see where the body is. I always like getting out there, because I know sometimes it'll come down to there, but not quite down to here. Obviously, in this case, we came, we shot right through it. But when this broke lower, for me, after the break and a new high and looking like we're ranging, I was expecting another leg down, which we clearly did, and some. So that helped me make a decision to go for that trade. Unfortunately, it never triggered me. So if I'd have gone there, yeah, it's why I see. The trouble is, if you take that, it's got to push through there for the to get 1.5 ticks, and I'd want to be out before then, so I'd want to be out really there. So you'd be only looking at a point, which is why I went in. I don't know, about here somewhere, but obviously it came down without me. Overshoot, so once, twice. See what's going on there. Yeah, it is up, down, up, down, up, down. So in a fashion, we're ranging really, aren't we? Just put it like that. So whether it is that or not, I don't know. I need a bigger screen. Trouble is, I've got more information on here. I want that on here, see? Because I had that problem, didn't I, a week or so ago, where it wouldn't come off. And I like the fact that I record my trades. See, well, I obviously record. I stream and it records everything. So I want all this information on. So if something does go wrong, I can say, well, you can clearly see there's nothing in the P&L and the orders, and you can clearly see nothing in the position. So at least it gives me a little bit of scope then to be able to make a complaint if something goes wrong. But obviously, the more stuff you got on the screen, the smaller your charts are, really. I have thought about getting a slightly wider screen. Trouble is, once you start getting quite a bit on here, it sort of clutters it a bit. So, leg and then a larger leg. We've bounced a bunch of times on here, so whether you think the bottom's here or here, I'm just putting it there out of curiosity, really. Hey, Brick, how you doing, buddy? So, we've bounced in a few times here, and we've had a push up, so this is interesting. Touch, 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 touch. There's a failure there. Failed second entry short. Let's see if this triggers and pushes above here, or whether it comes down. Does look like it's going up. Or is it just because we got a couple of dojis there, see? Okay, so for one, there's no way I'd want to go along this high. If that is a channel, which it's kind of looking like it is, I definitely don't want to go along there. But if this does push up, I'm guessing if that does finish a bearish bar, it's going to trigger and then stop out the shorts. But this is looking a bit congested, so we may come down lower. It's hard to say, but there is obviously, depending on whether we get that big push on the daily, there is a possibility this could end up doing something like this. And then all of a sudden the height up here is, it can allow it to go a bit more, but at the moment, I'm just sitting and waiting. So we've got some dojers here. If this pushes up above this lot, then I'd say maybe we may go a bit higher, but it's hard to say at the moment. So, there's a failure there. May trap some shorts. I just don't want to go long this high because I'm not sure what this is going to do. If this drops quickly, I think this will. So at the moment, I'm just sitting tight. It's too far from the EMA for me to go long, in all fairness, and we're at the top of this, so you just don't know what it's going to do. Bearish bar now, that's triggered. If that comes down, then this will. But this looks like a bull flag, so if that breaks above there, we're coming up, in my opinion. Yeah, it has done. So it may now really one pushes and the other one does at the same time. So that would have been okay, but just not too risky for me. That is just way too far from the EMA. So I got no issues letting it go. I mean, if that did drop, I'd have been glad that I stayed out of there. Just don't like it. It's just too far from the EMA. It is a small risk, I think. The ATR is quite low at the moment, so I bet that's about a 1.5. But even so, I'd just rather not take it. With that overshoot, we could just have a couple of attempts. It may trigger that, and you may get a lower high there, and it may come down. So, just too rich for my blood, that. So it is starting to look like a nice channel. Touch, close enough. We're clearly working high. There's no argument there. And that daily is starting to look very bullish so far. I mean, it could change, within the space of an hour. It could be retesting this line, but at the moment, we do look like we're getting a nice push up. We've pushed up, and we've had a couple of attempts to go lower. Second attempt hasn't come nowhere near as low, and then we're pushing up. So maybe we may get a nice bullish day today, which will make a change right from the off. Is there any connection icon on the R Trader Pro so you know it's maintaining its connection? Yeah, there's this. A green light. Oh, sorry. On R Trader Pro. I'm assuming that these are green. Now, for some reason, R Trader Pro disconnected. It usually opens up a box and tries to reconnect. Interesting question, though. What made you ask that, bud? I'm assuming. Right, okay. If our trader went down, this would go if it shut down, I think. I'm not sure. It's certainly something to look into. All these little bits of information, I think it's something you need to look into, really. I'm using a laptop as a backup. Right, I got you. Certainly a little bit of homework to do. Maybe later in the day, force a disconnect on it and just see what happens to this box. I'm pretty sure. It's a good question, actually. You tend to get it on and everything tends to work fine, so... Okay, so we've got a leg up there. Maybe we get a second entry long and have another leg up to the tops. I learned a very important lesson from Wilson on setting up max day lost our trade in case the platform goes down. Yeah, I saw that. He disconnected his, didn't he, for some reason? So if you set it at what, maybe $600 or $700, depends. If I lose 2 trades, that could be $600. So if you put it at, say, $650, just in the case of an emergency. Do you know, my slight issue I have that frustrates me a little bit is what's Apex's attitude if Rhythmic go down? Because as far as I'm concerned, to use Apex they sell you a package. To use Apex as a package, you have to use a piece of software that they dictate. So they say, to trade our system, you have to use Rhythmic. So if Rhythmic goes down, surely, in my opinion, Apex should be responsible. They should certainly look at it on an individual basis. I don't see how they can say, well, it's not our bit of software. Well, I'm sorry. If you say I can't trade it without it, you're forcing me to use it. And I mentioned it the other day, if you sold a Hot Point washing machine and you used a piece of software from another company in your electronics, and it goes, they don't say, well, I'm sorry, it's not our software. Well, it doesn't matter. You sold me the damn washing machine. It's responsible. I'm pretty sure a lot of these car manufacturers use different bits of, pieces from other companies. They don't say, well, if your car breaks down, sorry. It doesn't work that way. My son lost his accounts last week. Sucks. Yeah. I don't know how the hell he managed to lose so much so, even if something didn't trigger. He was only trading one contract and he seemed to lose over $2,000. The market would have to move against him 40 points. I don't quite understand that. How didn't it hit his stop? Because if I open an order down here, let's say I open a buy order down here, and it's down there, as soon as that triggers, my stop's set at about 8 or 10 ticks. So if I forget it's there and shut it down, as soon as I shut down Ninja Trader, it tells me that I have an order open or pending. Do I still want to go ahead? So it does tell you. And even if it did trigger that, 3 points, it would hit my stop.
Order
so
canceled.
I don't quite know how it happened. You had the same problem as you. You had an open order. Oh, I see. Right, yeah, I didn't know that. I think Apex need to come up with something here. I really do, because if it's happening to a lot of people, I don't see how they can say, I'm sorry, it's not our problem, because people will just decide, well, what's the point? There's no point in spending all this money building up accounts if something's going to go wrong and I lose everything. I don't get it. I don't get it. Thing is, if it happens, if Rhythmic went down, didn't it, a month and a half ago, and Daryl Martin made a video, said, you know, we look after our customers, blah, blah, blah. So if it happens in a widespread thing, they tend to do something about it. But if it happens to maybe 20 or 50 people, I think they say, well, it's not our issue. Then, well, I'm sorry. What's the point in me even signing up with Apex if a piece of software they use is flawed? So I don't know how I feel about it all, to be honest with you. I'm just trying to keep on top of as much as I can. It's another reason why I say for you guys, recording on OBS, so at least you've got some proof that you've done everything you can. Okay, so we've got a channel up here. We've got a leg and a leg. Let's have a look. We've got a break, new high. Let's have a look. But if something went down and I lost $40,000, I would be absolutely livid. I wouldn't let that. I wouldn't say, well, it's my fault. If something went down with Rhythmic, then what would be the point in Wilson doing it again? He might as well just say to Apex, well, you know, if you're providing me with a piece of software that just doesn't work, then there's no point in me carrying on. I've been wanting the same thing. I looked at his video and the last trade. Yeah, exactly. So I don't. How could the market go against you that far? It just doesn't quite make sense. I don't know. I'm just wondering whether he was just a bit embarrassed and something went wrong and he ended up taking a risky trade and ended up spiraling, because I believe he took $1,000. Now I know when I've taken money out of an account before, I tended to treat it. I got a bit risky then. You know what I mean? So guessing a revenge trade. Well, maybe he did. Maybe he's just a bit embarrassed to say. I get it. I've done it myself, so I just can't see how, you know, I would have lost the accounts. It doesn't seem to make sense. And if something did go wrong with Rhythmic, I don't see how you can accept it. You've got to. I'll be on call to Apex saying this is ridiculous. This is. So it's a bit hard to say, really, isn't it? Seeing some quick spiking. Yeah. I'm assuming there may have been some longs along here. It's hard to say, but yeah, I don't quite know. But he might have revenge traded a bit, and he might just be a bit embarrassed to say. But, you know, that's fair enough. But it's nice to know, isn't it? Just from a, you know. Yeah, he's been really patient, hasn't he? But it does make you wonder whether the patience starts to run out at some point. I don't know. But yeah, he did okay, actually. He did okay. It's a shame, though. I hope to God he got that money out. I'm pretty sure he got... He's because I looked at some of his videos, and I'm pretty sure overnight the amount dropped by $1,000. So I'm pretty sure he's taken $14,000. And he didn't... I wouldn't have come on and made a video like that. It would have taken me a few days because I'd have been depressed. So the way he came on... I had the feeling that I think he's made something out of it. He doesn't seem that pissed off. No, that's what I mean. You would come in here and make a video, wouldn't you? You would say Apex did this, and okay. So as long as he's withdrawn something, that might. But yeah, I mean, if you lost 40,000 in there, I would be absolutely livid. I'd be making a video saying Apex have said they won't do this. I'm not happy. I wouldn't just be able to forget it. So it does make me wonder whether he's just, you know, he took a bit of money out, made a bit of money out, struggled a bit. And the reason I'm suggesting that is because I've done it myself and I know what it feels like. So, you know, maybe. It's hard to say, isn't it? Maybe. Is this a break now? Let's have a look. Okay, we got a leg. Let's keep an eye on this. So, yeah, he may just be a bit embarrassed. And I get it. I get it. I'd be embarrassed myself a bit because he was sort of doing so well, wasn't he? And you know, you just feel like you're letting people down. And I'm saying that because that's how I felt. You know, the thing is with Wilson now, he charges, doesn't he? He charges for people to watch him trade, so that's good. That puts more pressure on him. So when he does blow something, you know, it might kind of make him look bad. So you don't know, do you? But I wish him all the best. He's a nice bloke, actually. He's a really nice guy. I hope he gets back on his feet. I'm pretty sure he will. He seems resilient. We've all been there, haven't we? We've all blown account. I got to say, I can't tell you how it feels like to blow 20 accounts. 4 is the most I've blown, and I felt physically sick. So I think the only saving grace is if he got $11,000. He's more than covered his costs, and he's certainly got enough to, you know, rebuy them all back. So just fingers crossed for him. Trouble is, he had a conversation with me. He wasn't sure whether to take some out. What did I think? This was a couple of weeks ago. He wasn't sure. But when I mentioned to him that I'd had problems with Rhythmic, see, I'd had that problem with Rhythmic, and straight away we were talking about Wilson. So I messaged him later in the day, and I went, look, I've had this problem. Just make sure you've got, you know, your Rhythmic box open just to check. Because it's happened to me, and the last thing you wanted to do is happen to someone with 20 accounts. And he got back to me later and said he was concerned about it, so he had decided to take a little bit out of each. He didn't want to leave too much in there. So if it genuinely has happened and the same happened to me and he lost it, at least he's got some out. But I absolutely could not leave that. I'd have to get on the phone to Apex. I would. I couldn't accept the loss of $40,000 because a piece of software went down. If we have got problems with that software, as far as I'm concerned, they should be making a video saying, look, there seems to be some issues. Just keep on top of it. Make sure you got this open. They should do. You know, somebody mentioned in the forum the other day, when they have a sale, they're first to send out emails and say, we got this offer and that offer. But if there's a problem, something's going wrong, they need to at least make sure people have got the right windows open and they know how to sort of at least try and help themselves. Because you've got to keep your customers happy, because as soon as you start to lose them, you know, you're in trouble. So we've got a break here. What looks like a break. It looks like a nice channel to me. So there's no setup for me there, really. Maybe a failure. We've pushed up here, so maybe we get a leg and a leg. So yeah, don't get me wrong. I like Apex, I do. But if there are problems, I think they need to at least tell people, because there are some people who may not, you know, they may not sit on, you know, pages like this where we all chat and keep each other informed. And if there is a problem and it's causing accounts to be lost, I think Apex need to tell people. Okay, so let's have a look here. So we're going to push up, pull back, push up, pull back. Are we going higher? Possibly. I would like to see a second entry short trigger here. But we're back to the EMA, yeah. I'd like to see that trigger. Trouble is, we've had a break. We've had 2 pushes up. Let's have a look. I'm just wondering whether we're doing a bit of sideways stuff here. Let's see. If I think this is going up, then I may be interested in taking a failure there. I'm just not convinced about that. We've come off the bottom, we've come only halfway up, and we've come back again. So I am concerned that we're going lower. Maybe a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, and then a push down. This is all of a sudden not looking very bullish to me, so I'm not thinking about a long trade at the moment. Although that does fit nice, and I'm quite happy. Touch close enough, touch. It's working beautifully in there, in all fairness. It's not the worst trade I've seen by far. So we've come up, we've bounced once, twice, three. We've bounced a bunch of times off this, which is a good sign. We've still got the failure there, but this may be getting a little bit congested here. In which case, do I really want to go long just yet? There is a failure there, clearly. There's a second entry short, which is triggered. Is this going to push above this, or is it going to struggle? I'd like to see a higher low there. We got a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. This could fail and come down, so I'm not going long here at the moment. Again, about Thomas Wade. Yeah, I'd like it. I just don't know whether when people start making money, they think, yeah, see, you know what I'm like. I'm a bit of a chatbox anyway. I tend to speak out aloud. That's how I think, and not everyone's like that. So if they've made money without doing that, they may not want to do it. My concern is I struggle to make money without the stream. So I'm the opposite way around, and I'm thinking, can I do this? Am I going to be as strict if I'm by myself in a room? So that concerns me. You know, he might be being concerned, you know, live streaming his trades. I'm a bit concerned not live streaming them because, you know, I've done the last year or a month or something like that, where I've just been streaming. I think I'll be okay, but I don't know. I do like having the company. But yeah, you know, I get people. I wish Penguin would. If the Penguin guy would, I'd pay to watch him for sure. Because I think he's a really good trader. He's a solid trader. I don't know, maybe they might, you know, what I see Penguin, and he you know, he tries to make as much bits of money as he can. You know, he you know, he has his website and all this, and you can pay X amount of money per month to be part of the group, but he'd make a lot more money, I think, live streaming. But I don't know, perhaps you think it may be detrimental to his trading. Okay, there is a failure there, but I don't really want to go long there because I can see all that support. Now, it has worked. Thomas does pretty much trade live. Does he? You can't see his chart, though, and you can't hear him talk, can you? Doesn't he just post? Doesn't he just post stuff? Yeah, I'm not so sure. I'm not sure, actually, exactly what he does. I thought it's a Discord like penguins. I've got penguins above my head. Here. Okay. Are we retesting this to push up now? Leg and a leg. Not sure about that. Yeah, you don't know how people are going to react when they're watching you trade live. You got 6 ticks out the failure. Good on you, mate. Yeah, in all fairness, I like the way it came back and bounced twice there and bounced a third time there. It's just a little bit risky for me personally. And not only that, my concern was we had a leg down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher, and then down. This to me is, I don't know, it looks like it's trying to go down, but it looks like 1 minute it looks like it's going up, next minute it'll just drop. And sometimes with the NQ, it's kind of why I like it on here. When we get moves, and it does move in the direction, it tends to move really quick here, so you can get a good feel for, the direction it's going. The trouble is, we've got a leg down here. You don't know whether we're trying once to get up, and we've struggled 4 times, and we've come up, and we seem to be struggling again, so you don't know whether it's going to quickly drop. Solid second entry, short retester. Yeah. Yeah. It's slow, and it is congested. And that's what concerns me. Yeah, sometimes it doesn't, though. You just don't know whether we're going to end up making a quick drop. We've had this strong channel, we've had a break of it, and we've pushed up, and we've tried 4 times there to get high, and we've come back, and we're trying again. So my thoughts are we're just going to have a quick drop, which is why I just don't like getting there. Drop 20, yeah. I don't know. We've come out, we've pushed up, we've come back down and retested. We've pushed up higher and come back again. So it just looks to me like it's struggling. The momentum's slowing down. That's why I tend to, and not only that, it is a failure, but look, we're ranging, aren't we? So, I don't know. How many points did it make? So if you went a tick above it, yeah, so if you went a tick above it, you'd have got 1.25 points. So, I don't know, it just concerns me. Is this going to take it? Sometimes good positions will hold, though. So, let's just have another look at that. So, there's 1 tick, so there's another tick. Yeah, there we go. Something just didn't feel right. So it depends on where you have that. You'd have got 1.5 points for the squeeze out there, I think. I'm assuming if you got 6 ticks, you got in maybe on a limit order. But I don't know. Yeah, you expect it to push up. You think, there we go, there's a failure. Now we're going to push up. And it didn't. It came up and then dropped quickly. And that's what I was concerned about, because it just doesn't feel right to me. The way we've pushed up and it's rejected. We've pushed up again and it's rejected again. I don't like these drops. It makes me nervous, and rightly so. I think if you're going to take one, that might be a better option. I don't know. We all get, like I say, I tend to look at it now and I get a feel for it. And my feeling was there, I don't like it the way we've pushed up and we got that stem. We've pushed up, we got that stem. We've pushed up again and we got the stem, but we've also got some support there, some resistance there, sorry. So, if you'd have waited any more to get up to the highs, then, you got stopped out. So I was right to let it go, because that was my suspicion. We come down. This looked like it was struggling to get up as well. We've had this leg down and we've tried 4 times to push up, and then it's dropped suddenly. And then we had another push. We had a push higher and it's just starting to struggle. So for me, let's have a look. In at 95 out at 90. Yeah, so you got a limit order, did you? Yeah, if you get a limit order, I get it, but I just don't like the way we got support. We're just struggling a bit there, so I do usually, if we get a break, I never just take these now. I usually wait for a higher low. I just wasn't a fan of that. So, and a lot of the times it doesn't always make a new high. And what I found sometimes, what we'll find later on, is the reason it didn't make a new high is because if it comes down here and then goes up and then goes up and starts ranging, a lot of times we won't, because, you know, it'll almost be a top. And look at that, you got 4, 5, 6 touches there. So you may find, and if you look at the NQ, it's ranging, isn't it? So it stands to reason there's a chance this may as well. And I've done that before. I can't tell you how many times I've done that. I've focused on it. It's got to make a new high. It's got to make a new high. And I've got in before. I've got in. And sometimes I've got out and it shut up just as I've got out. So I would have made me money. And other times it looks like it's trapping longs and down it'll drop. So whenever there's a picture there that I don't like the look of, and I'm assuming it's because I've got into these issues before. So sometimes when we make a break and people get that focused on going along, I know I've done it myself. And sometimes when you zoom out, actually this may just be a range. And the fact that the NQ's ranging to me was a good enough reason not to get involved. And if I'd have taken that, in all fairness, if I'd have taken that and it looked maybe a bit better, I'd have gone for 2 points, and I'd have wanted to get out before these, and if I'd have held, I'd have ended up losing that trade. So I was kind of glad I left it, really. Where did it? Let's say a tick above it. So yeah, you'd have squeezed a 1.5, wouldn't you? But the picture didn't look right to me, and rightly so. It did what I thought it may do, was come down. So it is about, I find myself doing this more and more. I don't like the picture. Something doesn't seem right. When I see a trade I like, I usually can't click the button quick enough. But I think it just comes with time, doesn't it? That sort of gut feeling, intuition. There's definitely, you're seeing these charts every day like this, and you see a picture and you take a trade and it doesn't work. That picture lodges in your brain, doesn't it? And if you get enough of them, something just won't seem right. Yeah, see, we've struggled, haven't we? We've come up there quite a few times and dropped, and same again and dropped again. So we do seem to be losing that upward momentum. Let me just check this channel. Yeah, as far as I'm concerned, touch, close enough, touch. And not only that, it's fitting really nice on the top, and it visually looks okay, which is important. So, I mean, we've had that channel there, we've had a break, and we've had a new high by 3, by a tick. So maybe that's all you need. Maybe that's the only true, well, maybe that's more of a true channel on the, I don't know, who knows. Channels are all good and well, but if we come to the top of a range, it'll just turn without hitting a new high. I mean, it may still go up there, but we got a leg up, maybe 1, 2 attempts to go lower, and now we're pushing up. So yeah, we got a leg up there. Maybe we're just having a couple of, maybe 2 legs of correction. Do I want to go long here if we get a higher low? I'm not sure, because we've been up here twice already, and each time we came up, we didn't get as high last time around. So I don't know whether we're going to trap some longs and come down here again. There's another reason for me not to get involved here. Maybe this is a leg down, 1 attempt to go higher, 2nd attempt to go higher, and it fails and down we come. Who knows? But what I'm seeing now is a little bit of chop. Okay. Yeah, I said this looks like it's ranging to me. This does now as well. So there's always a possibility, if we do have sort of a couple of legs, that there may be a bigger channel. Where's the market open here? I don't know, there maybe end up something bigger like that during the end of the day. I mean, it certainly could push a lot higher, couldn't it? If we get that up, I mean, what's that, 103 ticks, is that it? It could do that again, couldn't it? I mean, we've pushed up, literally gone over to the side and pushed up. We could do the same, so it is possible it could go a lot higher. So maybe a legs of correction, a few different attempts to go lower, and then off we go again. Who knows? But it's a little bit choppy, isn't it? A little. Yeah, so my suspicions again. I was concerned that wasn't going to go higher because the last couple of times we seem to be dropping, don't we? But fortunately there wasn't a setup there. Yeah, I'm going to look into that later, how to find out if Rhythmic does go down. There must be something that pops up. Maybe, I don't know, maybe these go from turning green. Because these are both from our trader. So I'm going to have a look into that later. I'll play around. See if I can disconnect it and see what it does to here. I've emailed our trader support to ask. I'll let you know. Yeah, nice one. Thanks, Chris. I think really, while we're all sort of slowly building and learning, it's good to find out all these information, because if you get to, like I say, Wilson's level where you've got 20 accounts and something goes wrong, I mean, that could literally mentally retard you, couldn't it? I mean, that could cripple you. You imagine having $45,000 in there that you've built up over the last 3 months, and it gets wiped out in the space of an afternoon because something's gone wrong. I'd be on a plane over to flipping the US. I'd be knocking on Darryl Martin's door. I don't think I could just forget that. Have you set our trader to max loss? I haven't yet. I'm going to do it later. I have set one in the past before, a daily loss limit. But I think what it needs to be under your 2-trade max loss. So if you're trading 2 contracts, let's say your max loss for a trade, maybe, I don't know, 350, say. So if you set it for, say, $700, what you don't want to do is set it for 5, you're down 350, and the trade you're in has gone against you a little bit, it cuts you out, and then the trade goes on to win. So yeah, I'm going to have a look at that, but I don't know if you guys are a member of the Traders Den. I tend to not so much. I haven't put so much in lately because I find it hard sometimes to sit and chat in there as well as do this. So it might be something we could post there, any information that we get, maybe help all of us. At the moment, I've got the Apex one above me there. So if anything comes up that something's not right, I can see it there and let you guys know. There's a few people saying things have been a bit laggy, but I haven't noticed any issues at the moment. But the good thing about there is you've got I know these guys well. Cameron Nish, I've dealt with him before. Chris Childers, I've chatted with him once or twice before. He's online. And Vince, he was the guy who withdrew the $800,000. So I like the fact that there are some Apex guys in here. And if anybody does post an issue, maybe we can get some first-hand information as to why. So I've gotten this here for the last few days, just keeping an eye on things, because what happened to me the other day unnerved me a little bit, and I try and avoid that happening, or at least be prepared for it if it does. It burned on that triple test that failed. Yeah, see, it was my concern that we were struggling, and rightly so. Maybe this wasn't as clear as a range. I get why people were looking to go along there for the new high, but this, it's another reason why I have this. It just gives you a different aspect. And this clearly, wow, look at that. This clearly was ranging, but it does be starting to tip now, doesn't it? So, another thing I mentioned earlier, there is a possibility that we could come down and retest this. So it could either push up strongly or it could come down. I always like it whenever we have a break from these, that it comes down and at least makes an attempt. So it could come down some more. So not that that tells us it could go up, could come down. We already know that, but I didn't expect it to come down that quick. I thought we may come down and break below here. But that's the trouble, really. See, sometimes you can get that focused on going along and you forget there is a possibility that we're just at the top of a range. And I know because I've got into so many trades there and they tank and it fries my bloody head. So I'm a little bit aware of it now. And obviously you can see it's finding some resistance there. So maybe. But I think the telltale for me was that this is not looking bullish at all. So while I've got two different pictures, I'm just a little bit extra cautious, and rightly so, because we took a bit of a nosedive on this and a little on the air as well. Okay, so leg down, sort of like a hidden second entry, but for me it's more of a little channel rather than a hidden second entry, so I won't be taking that. So look at this. So we do look like we're coming down, don't we? Trouble is, if we are coming down any type of a channel, we may be at the bottom of it there. In which case we may come back up, it's hard to say. So it does look like a hidden second entry, but for me it looks more like a little channel there, so I'm just staying out of that at the moment. See if we can get a lower high there. My slight concern is this one's triggered that red bar and it's turning, so it's hard to say. Leg and a leg. Maybe we get a lower high. Yeah, we got a leg down there, two legs back up. I want that to push above there though, and hopefully that will take that. Come on, push up. Come on, a bit more. Come on, up you get. Yeah, unfortunately, there's no lower high. So I just can't take that. As tempting as it is. Yeah, I mean, if there is a channel working down here, it could go a bit higher. So I don't know, I'd feel about going short. Because it may just trap you and rock it up. Okay, there's a lower high there which is triggered, and that's turning, so... It's looking a bit congested here. Okay, so what would you have got there? So you'd have got 2.25 points. You certainly got 2 points. I'm just, that for me is in its own little channel, I think, personally, which is why I didn't take that. We got a channel down, one attempt to go higher, second attempt to go higher. There's still a possibility we could come down. It's okay, one leg up, one leg up. Let's have a look. I need this to push above there by a tick or so and then come down bearish, in which case that may interest me. Go on, get up. Go on, another tick. Come on. Come on. Three times due to power. It's windy, mate, but that's it at the moment. It's blown a bit of a gale. I think we got 40, 50 mile an hour winds, but there's been a tornado warning somewhere in the country, isn't there, or something? Obviously up Scotland, weather tends to be a lot stronger up there. But so far, we've had nothing here. So hopefully we won't. Getting battered, yeah. I was looking at the weather last night. There is bad weather around. But so far, we've been okay. Well, I've had to go and nail some things down in the garden, but it's about 40 mile an hour here, I think. Well, that's so tempted. Leg up, leg up. Very tempted. See if we get a lower high. I'll have to upload a video tonight on my tactic difficulties. That'd be interesting to watch. We were just having a chat about stuff like that, about rhythmic down and stuff like that. Took a trade for 2 points, and when it filled, it opened a new trade straight after. Oh, it's getting a bit scary, isn't it, all this? Rhythmic open, managed to close it there. I don't know what's going on, but something's happening. I've just gotten at the moment the Apex Discord, and I'm just monitoring this because there is some Apex people in here at the moment. I know Cameron Nish's, Chris Childers's, and Vince's. So I'm just trying to monitor this and find out what the general feeling is. Because Apex are going to have to sort of come out with a video at some point, aren't they, and say, you know, there does seem to be a few issues around. Make sure you have this open, that open if this happens. But I just don't know what's going on at the moment. But it is getting a bit scary. You have it on your phone. Yeah, I downloaded the app. I haven't hooked up yet, but I'm gonna look into it later. I've got it on my phone here. Let's have a look. Yeah, I'll trade it. Yeah, it just comes up with rhythmic login. I'm gonna have to do it. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, we're putting a lot of money and a lot of time into this. It needs to work. And Apex need to keep on top of it, because if they don't, and word gets around, people are going to get cold feet and they'll disappear. I had a message with him last night. So I believe, because I looked at his chart 2 days and there was $1,000 different in his account, so I'm pretty sure. I think he said he'd added approve for $14,000, so we know he's had that much out of it. But I don't know exactly why. I mean, we chatted with this earlier. The thing is, he's only trading one contract. Now, when he finished his trading for the day, there was about 2,300 in his account. So when you're trading one contract, that market would have to go against him 40, 45 or 46 points to blow his account. So I don't know. I don't quite know how it's happened. So I don't know really, but whether, we did say whether he's just lost something and something's gone wrong and he's a bit frustrated and he's had some money and he's revenge traded a bit and he's a bit embarrassed to say, maybe. I don't know. I've done it myself. I've lied myself. Well, not lied, but I haven't said the truth when I've lost something. So it is embarrassing sometimes, if stuff goes wrong. But I'm pretty sure he's had that $14,000, so at least he's covered his costs and he's got enough to get them back up. So I don't really know. I hope it's not down to rhythmic, because we've said here he doesn't seem that pissed off. And if it was down to rhythmic, you would make a video, wouldn't you? And you would state your case. I certainly would. We got 2 legs back there. There is a lower high there, but it's congested to shit. So I'm just staying out of this because it could do anything. It's going sideways here. I would expect it to come down. But just whenever it's sideways like that, it can stitch you up. Fabricate the truth. Yeah, that's a better word for it. We've all done it, mate, haven't we? Because at the end of the day, when you're streaming, people are watching you and people, and when stuff goes wrong, it is a bit embarrassing. And obviously Wilson charges for people to watch his stream now, see, so when he makes a mistake, he's going to feel it even more, isn't he? If people are paying to watch you, then they expect a certain thing. It is working that, but I'm just not sure here. So I was quite happy I left that alone. But yeah, so he's probably just feeling a bit. I don't know. Maybe we'll never know the truth. Who knows? You are banned from the traders' den. We can't have light. I had a joke earlier. What was it? Oh, somebody got made. Was it? Well, he was a prince at the time. Prince Charles made someone an MBE, which was better than Prince Andrew giving someone an STD. Something like that, it was. I forget. It came out a little bit better than when they told it. I forget it was. But the lag when your stop loss hits is unacceptable. I am using 3 gigabytes Ethernet. Really? Yeah, I don't know what. Something's going on, isn't it? I don't know. It's making me a bit nervy, I got to say. Which is why I've changed my chart. So I've got everything I need. So I've got my positions and orders tabs from NinjaTrader, and I've got this, and I've got my amount. So if anything changes in here or here, I should be able to know about it. And the beauty is, at least if it's recorded, at least I've got something that I can say, right, well, this is what happened. You can clearly see. So, but I have mentioned to you guys, OBS is free to download and use. So even just trade your own chart. record your own chart. So at least if something goes wrong, you can look back and figure out, what went wrong. Okay, so that did work. My only slight issue is there's clearly a range here, and I don't really want to go short into that because there isn't even a point. There may be just... but you just don't know. It is looking like it's going to work, but I'd rather just let it alone. Two legs up and another leg down, but so it is just getting a bit nerving, which is why I'm monitoring this Apex Discord, and I'm just seeing if I can get a picture of what's going on, because quite a few people are saying they're having problems. And if you put your hard-earned money into it, and it fails, then what's the point in carrying on? So I'm hoping maybe Apex might be getting quite a lot of emails, and they may put out a video or something. Started watching Billions. Did you really? I'm nearly finished it now. I think I'm on season 7, episode 7. I think they're just trying to get prints out. There's only about 3 left. And there's another one I'm starting, actually. I watched about 20 minutes of it earlier. Fool Me Once, that's another one. Someone else has told me about that. But it is good, Billions. If you're a trader, you'll like it. It's good. It's good. Yeah, you'll enjoy it. Shame they're not making any more, but there you go. But I kind of like watching things when they're finished because you can just binge watch them all then, can't you? Okay, so rightly to sort of stay out of there unless you've got in that on a limit order, because we've had a break, and I tell you something, there are going to be people looking to go long there, but fortunately I don't think there was anything too many that have got trapped. But it does seem like we're ranging, so we've got a leg down and a leg down. It is 2 legs back, and I would have normally, in fact, you could have said that was a triple test, 1, 2, 3. The only bit that put me off was that bit of sideways stuff. So if it would have triggered me and stopped me out, I'd have kicked myself, because by rights, you've just got to be a bit cautious there. But we have got a leg down, 2 pushes up. And especially after we've broken, because there's always a possibility we could have leg down, and it could worm its way up. It's done that before. I don't tend to have any lag that I notice. My computer's quite a quick computer, and I'm on gigabyte internet, so I don't notice anything.
I don't know that.
Oh, Alexa telling me what he thinks there. I don't know where that came from. I've got one of those Alexas right next to my desk. Now and again he just blurts out and says something. Okay, so leg down, 2 legs. It's a bit clearer now this is pushed down. And you could have said 1, 2, 3. 3 attempts to go higher, but it's a bit congested there for me. It's Burns Night Thursday, isn't it? I got myself a new bottle of whiskey come through the post yesterday. A nice bottle of Lechaig from the Tobermory Distillery, non-chill filtered, 46%, I think. It's from a Rioja cask. Really nice, actually. I do like my peated whiskies. That one was someone else. Close to the Ardbeg. The Ardbeg 10 is my favourite. That is intense. Okay, let's have a look. Let's see if we got a channel here. Not sure about that. So it does look like we're just ranging, I think. it looked quite bullish there, but it looked more rangy there, so I ended up staying out of that because it just looked like it was losing momentum, and rightly so because we had a quick drop. So we got a leg and a leg. So now what's going to go on? Are we going to continue down? There is. We have found some support there, so it may not. We may maybe push up. We may continue to range in this area here. It's hard to say at the moment. And we range in here, but it does look slightly bearish, so there is a possibility that this could continue down. But I'm a bit cautious of that because there's clearly some support. You can see that there, and we've come down and bounced, so there is a possibility this could go a bit higher. So channel down, a couple of attempts to go higher. Actually, it was a triple test, but I just didn't like the congestion. But it's a bit clearer now, so the triple test would have worked. I'm not a fan of that. So leg, touch. So it could be just a range, and we may just have a drop out, and this may come back in. So I'm just cautious about going short. But no, having the Discord on there, the Apex Discord does give you access to some of the Apex guys, Cameron and Chris. I've chatted with Chris a little bit before through Facebook Messenger, so if I've had problems before, he's usually quite happy to answer. He's alright, Chris is. And he's a trader himself. Well, I think they all are, really. I'm pretty sure. I know Vince is. I think Cameron is as well. And senior moderators on there. I know Marion. I've dealt with her before in the past. I had a problem maybe going back 7 or 8 months, and someone told me to message Marion direct, and she helped me out. So it's quite nice to have some access. You may get a quick answer to a query. So there is. It's a bit too far for a higher low, but it's a bit congested there, so I'm just sitting tight there. Okay, excuse me just for 1 minute. I'm just going to take a quick bathroom break. Okay, let's have a look. Are we coming down? It's certainly a possibility, but I'm just not a fan here at the moment. Leg up, break new high. It might not be that bad actually, but I'm just sitting tight at the moment. How far did that drop? Okay, so you'd have got, maybe not. It's about there, isn't it? So you'd have got 1.5 points. Yeah, because you need to push through So there's a 0.5. So you'd have got a 0.5 for that quickly, depending on where you add your points out there. Do I want to take that? I don't think I do. Is there a channel there? Possibly. I just don't like this. This could go up. No, I'm sitting tight at the minute. At the end of the day, if this is a channel, we've come down to the bottom here. We're losing momentum, which we haven't come down here, so we're losing momentum. So I ain't taking a short there because I have a feeling that that's going to push higher. I just don't like this. This just doesn't look bearish at the moment, although we are looping down. Okay, maybe it is. It's come too far now for me anyway. Where are we? There is a bit of support there, so that one would have worked. It's just too late to take that now, I think. What's going on here now? Okay, so there's a failure there. Second entry long off here and a failure. Look left. I've got a sign on my computer that says look left.
I don't know that.
Oh, I don't know what he's on about. There is some support there and there's some there as well, so I'm sitting tight actually. It may work. Okay, so that I didn't take. I was waiting for the lower high. The lower high is right at the bottom, so for me, it's too low to take anyway. From Penguin, I'm no longer going to be doing hourly chart post. I've done it for several months now, and my passion is with trading, not Penguin trades. I don't really get anything out of it. Penguin trades, anyway. Into Penguin trades, I've decided I will only do a 10-minute post from now on, maybe. And I often find myself realising it's suddenly a couple of minutes past the hour. Okay. From Penguin. Oh, okay. Hourly chart posts. Okay, thanks for letting us know about those, mate, because there are some Penguin guys on here. He's done. Okay, so I think he's just doing less, really, isn't he, by the sounds of things? Trouble is, I think if he's got the website and that, it does take up your time, and obviously, ultimately, he's a trader first, isn't he? Okay, so let's have a look. Okay, so it may not be a bad trade then, actually, thinking about it, but I just don't like this. And then, so I was looking for a lower high, but the lower high, there's no room there. There is a failure, but same again, just, you know. So it might have been, I wouldn't have taken that one. Well, I think that was probably the better option. Trouble is, there's some support here, and that's what makes me nervous going into that support. But it's clearly worked anyway, so I don't know. Sometimes you just. But if we are using this as a channel, we're down the bottom here. I don't know whether we'll lose momentum. It just makes me a bit nervous that this is going to trap and turn, or trap and turn, because there's some support along there. But that's fine. I don't mind just leaving these things sometimes if it doesn't feel right. So that one, and the failure would have worked. Yeah, see, at the end of the day, if I looked at this chart later, I would go, yeah, okay, that's a trade there. There's a lower high there. There's a failure. They all worked. In hindsight, we know they worked, but you can't deny that there's some support there. I mean, really, to take a trade, you want to be out before the lows. So that make that okay. Would make that one risky, and that one, but they all worked in the end. But it's just a personal thing. We'll often do this, see, when we'll push up and then start to work, and we're at the same sort of level. That's what makes me nervous. In fact, in all fairness, you could move that up. That would look a bit better. Okay, so we got a leg down. Yeah, okay. So, yeah, in hindsight, I think that's okay, actually. Leg down, 2 attempts to go higher. Yeah, that's an okay trade, that one. Plenty of room to the lows. So that was okay. That one I think's too risky. That one maybe as well. So let's mark that up. Okay. So we got a leg, 2 legs up and a leg down. Technically, the measured moves played out, so it just... But I think it's literally engulfed everything there, really, isn't it? So I think, yeah, I'm pretty sure Mac will mark that one. That one, maybe not. But yeah, you'll mark that one for sure. I think that's a good trade now. Now I see it. At the time, the trouble is, at the time, it's hard to say we have a leg, 2 legs of correction leg. You just don't know whether we're going to bounce off here, do you? It's hard to say. I think that was quite a large bar. I think that was another reason I left it alone. 3.5 points, maybe 3.75 points. Yeah, so you don't know whether we got a channel down there breaking a new low. Let's have a look at this. This looks like it's bottoming to me. You missed 2 setups. I think market today is not easy. Well, to be honest with you, that one, I did drop an order in as a limit order, but it never came back and got me. But I liked that one at the time. We didn't necessarily have this. It looked like 2 legs up. Get down, lad. Get down. Good boy. We had 2 legs up, but I liked the way we had an overshoot. We often do this come back, so it was a second entry short and it worked nice, but I did drop a limit order in, but it never came back and got me, unfortunately. That one, the bit that made me a bit nervous is we've pushed up and we've bounced a bunch of times here. So this tells me this could be the bottom of a range. Could be. And we've come down. We've had a channel down there to break a new and we've bounced here. So you just don't know whether it's going to come up, come down and continue on up. So that's what made me a bit cautious, because if we have come off the bottom, we could have a leg up, a break and another leg up. So it could trap some shorts there. Now it's clearer. Now we've come down. But at the time, you just don't know. You know when you have those doubts. And I think if you've got doubts and you're not sure, much better to miss a trade than to take one that, you know, that's doubtful. But that bit of support there, in fact, you can probably go up a touch more, but you can clearly see that's doing something, can't you? However you have it, whether it's there or something, but that's just what put me off there, in all fairness. And at the time, were we around about here? And it's just congested again, so yeah, I agree. Always find the clear. Yeah. Now I can see it. It's better, but you know, I think now I'm at a right level of what's the word I'm looking for? I'm at the right level of what's the word I'm looking for? I don't know. Yeah, it's gone blank. I'm working okay at the moment. Everything's right. Cautious, I suppose, is the word I'm looking for. I'm at that right level of being cautious. But I have a piece of paper on my desk that says, looking for a trade, look left. And I look left and I can see support. Now, if I took that trade, it triggered me and pushed up for another leg, I'd kick myself. The fact that it worked, I think, is besides the point. I think it was important, if I've got doubts, is not to take it. It's always, you know, I've never, ever anymore got an issue with not taking a trade. I'm quite happy to let a trade go by. It doesn't bother me in the slightest. I used to kick myself. It doesn't bother me in the slightest, because I can guarantee from not taking a trade, I'll never lose a penny. But if you didn't see that, and you didn't see that, then you may probably take that. But I am aware that this could be the bottom. Now, we had this break here and traders looking for longs there. I didn't like the look of that. It looked like it was losing momentum, and I did say it could end up being a range, and sure enough, it came down. Now, we're having the same issue with going long there. Are we going shorter here? So we could have had exactly the same issue that I was having there. See, do you know what I mean? So, but that's fine. I've got no problem leaving a trade. It doesn't bother me. But you learn from it. You learn that, okay, maybe it worked. But the fact that we came down, bounced there, not as low as there. Sometimes what I find is when we come down and we don't come to the same level, sometimes you'll lose a bit of momentum and then you'll get a break. So it's hard to say, isn't it? So are we pushing up now? I think we probably likely are. But I'm just sitting tight. There's no setup for us anywhere there, really. So I looked at that second entry lower high, 1534. Second entry. That one there. Yeah. I looked at that one and I liked it. My only slight issue was there is two clear legs, and now I can extend it and have a bit of time to look at it. We've got a channel down, 1, 2. This sort of a triple test, really, isn't it? Just that little bit of congestion concerned me, and there is a bit of support here, and there's not much room to the lows. If you go a tick below it, do you know what I mean? You'd have to push through that to get a point, and that's what concerned me. Because I have this sheet of paper, and I've done this before, that it says, taking a trade, look left. And I could see we've pushed up, and we'd bounced 3 times. And sometimes when we get that, we'll push up. So, yeah. Well, it's hard to say. The trouble is, we've all got different sort of, how we think about risk. And we'll all go through different phases. Sometimes I'll be a little bit careless. Sometimes I'll be a bit overcautious. But I think it's all part of finding where your sort of comfort zone is in relation to taking trades. So, if you see that trade often and you take it, it works for you, then maybe you take it. But it's just the fact that it's gone back up. I don't know. But you know what I'm saying anyway. I just have a sheet of paper saying look left because I've got stuck in trades before and they've come down, hit that level and turned. And if you did that with there, if it didn't break down there and come down there, you'd have struggled to get even a point out of that. And that's just the bit that concerns me. The fact that we've got 3 bars struggling, all finishing at the same level. So do I want to take a trade there? Not really, which is why I left it. But yeah, it worked, but it may not have done. And if it had triggered me, come down here 3 ticks and bounce, I'd have kicked myself. I aim to, yeah. Yeah, it's just one of those things, isn't it? I see the trade, but I deem it, what I'm trying to think about is I'm aiming for one really good solid trade in a day. So I'm not in a rush. I'm quite happy to let other ones go by. And I figure if I do that, see at the moment, if I open my, over the last 2 weeks at the moment on my trade sync, I'll show you, I'm averaging, where is it, 89, so just under 90%. So I've had 1 loss. It's showing 2 here, but that's from each account. And it's shown a little bit more trades, but I'm averaging 90% at the moment, and it's kind of where I like to be. So I'm quite happy letting a few of these others go by and just trying to pick that one that I really like. In hindsight, I don't think that was a bad trade. It clearly did what it was supposed to. But at the time, my concern was this. We've been to this level a few times and pushed up, so you just don't know whether it's going to bounce. There is a little bit of sideways, so, now I see it, I think, yeah, actually it's not too bad. Is Mac going to mark it? Yeah, I'd probably say would. But the trouble is, Mac will mark these trades, and I can mark them after I say, yeah, that's a trade, that's a trade, that's a trade, and they all worked. But, in real time, you've got to make a real quick decision, and I think if you're not comfortable with something, I think it's much better to lose a trade if something doesn't feel right than to think, oh, sod it, I'll take it. And don't get me wrong, there's plenty of times in the past where I've just jumped in, it's like I'm stood on the sidelines on a springboard and I'm just waiting to dive in. But now I'm just thinking longer term, just look for 1 trade a day. If I get 2 great setups, then, it's win-win. But I'm quite happy to set aside the trades where I think not the best I've seen. But you guys might think different. We've all got a slightly different level of risk, and we're never all the same. One sort of setup doesn't It doesn't suit everyone. I have seen people like Marco and Daniel in the past that what I would consider, strict traders, take trades that I wouldn't have done. I deemed sort of too risky, but that's the thing, because we're all slightly different. It's hard to say. Well, if they can differ the thoughts from one trader to the next, and that's okay. But I'm extra cautious. I've got a 90% win rate at the moment, so it's kind of where I like to be. I've had 7 trading days, and in 7 trading days I'm up that, but 2 of the days I haven't traded, or 1 of the days I haven't traded. So I'm averaging a couple of hundred a day, but if I can average $2,000 over a month, that's more than enough for me. And trading 2 contracts, it shouldn't be that difficult to hit that sort of level. So we've had this little channel. So are we going to come down and make a new low? From what I'm looking at here, there's a fair possibility. We seem to be going a bit sideways there. We do seem to be broken out of it. But maybe we're retesting. Maybe it'd be nice to get right where that intersection is, from the underside of the channel to the top. The underside of the range to the top of the channel. So maybe a leg and come down again. So we may come down lower, but I am aware that it could also, this could be the bottom of range, and this just might be a failed breakout, and we may be going up. So, but I'm just focusing on one good solid trade a day, and that's good enough. So I'm not thinking about going long here. Reason being is because there is a possibility of a hitting the underside of the range, or the top side of the downtrend. Could be a leg in a leg, so I'm just staying out of this at the moment. Obviously, we've had a channel down here which looks valid enough for me. We've had a break out of it, so we could come down and retest this area this year. I changed my trading management strategy now. I took every possibility in the market. Yeah, I get that. I get it if you can play the numbers game. Because, even though I think that was a bit risky at the time, I would say trades like that will probably work maybe 70% of the time, maybe a bit more, that's just a rough guesstimate. So if you're going for, I don't know, 2 points or 1-to-1 or something like that, then the numbers would say that would be a trade to take. So it depends whether you want to maybe go for a bit more and take every trade and get maybe 70%. But for the moment, I'm still not a fan of taking losses, so I'd rather be a little bit more particular, take a bit less, but what I do take, so I used to watch the Gorilla guy, and he used to have I think he probably only, maybe got 50-50 or 60-40, but most of his trades he held and went for 6 points or more. So there's many different ways to take trades. You could take slightly higher risk ones, maybe 60-70%, but if you're going for 1-on-1 or more, it's still worth taking. Numbers game is the key for people that can't keep their yeah, I get what you're saying there, mate. Yeah, I have thought that may be a way that I may look into later down the line, but at the moment I'm still not a massive fan of taking losses. So if I can get consistent and start taking regular money out, you get a lot of confidence in your skills, and don't you? You start to realize, well, actually, I can do this. And then what I tend to do, if I'm looking at something new, I'll tend to put maybe put a visual line in and say, I took that trade. Let's say I took it. What would it give me? And just work out, how would that work? But I get it. Some people might take a lot less risky trades but win more. Some people may take riskier trades, but obviously the numbers game works in their favour. So there's no size fits all, really, is there? But I absolutely get what you're saying. Absolutely. I was watching a woman that moved to Dubai recently with her family. She's a teacher, and he is tech support, I think. And they were working out. They broke down all their monthly, because it's something I'd love to do. It's a bit of my dream to go to Dubai, maybe live out there for a few years. And I think they had a 2-bedroom apartment, and this was all their costs. The rent, there was a few other bits and pieces billed. There was the medical insurance. That was including $600 a month, or £600 a month for a payment on a car which they bought. This included childcare, membership to a few other bits and pieces. And I think in British pounds, it was costing about £5,500 a month, including everything. That was including their food and all this sort of stuff. But obviously you've got the tax-free, because it's hard to stay within the chart month 3 or 4 hours without taking any trades. I took 3 or 4 maximum a day, 1-to-1 rate between. Yes, if you're taking 1-to-1, theoretically, including your fees, anything over above 50, 52, 53%, you start to move into profit. So if you're floating around about the 70 or just over 70% on 1-to-1, absolutely, that's a working strategy. That's a profitable strategy. Absolutely. There's many ways to skin a cat, isn't there? As we say over here. No, you're welcome, mate. Anytime. There are many different ways of taking money from and the best way is the way that works for you. And if it works, it works. And why change something that isn't? Why fix something that isn't broken? If it works, stick with it, and it works. Absolutely. But yeah, I get the alert and not sit around for too long before you get in. I used to be terrible for that. But yeah, absolutely. Remind me where you're from again, bud. Adnan, remind me where you're from. I'm pretty sure I've asked you before. Are you Morocco? Was you Morocco? Was that someone else? Yes, of course it was. I'm right here. I thought so. Absolutely. So, we've got a channel down here with a break. 1 leg up, 2 legs. Now, a lot of cases, as we know, when we get a channel down, we have a break. We often make a new low. So there is. I thought the bottom could be there. We've come lower. It could be down here. We've got got overnight lows, and the open was where were we? Yeah. So market's been down there before, so it could come down. The NQ. At the moment, we look like we're sort of holding at the top of this quite possible downtrend, and also at the bottom, the underside of this range. So let's see what goes. First time listener, I'm American, but lived in Cromhall near Bath. Okay, yeah. I know Bath for 1 year. Brilliant. Bath is absolutely stunning. If anybody comes to the UK, Bath's beautiful, fantastic, beautiful stonework. You've got the old original Roman baths there. I was down in Bath maybe 7 or 8 months ago. I used to live down in Winchester, and we usually come when we travel up. My sister still lives down there. We usually come via Bath and drive through it. But absolutely stunning. The stone in Bath, the stone buildings in Bath are stunning. It's absolutely beautiful. Yeah. Cromhall, I've not heard of that, but I certainly know where Bath is. Absolutely stunning. Beautiful. Good. Glad to have you. So you are in the US at the moment. Excellent. Nomad J. Excellent. Well, you're welcome. We're here Monday to Friday, streaming for around about the 3 hours. Very small, about 8 people. Don't jest. There's probably many places in the UK that have around about 8 people in a little town or a village. Frozen in Motion, that's a new one. I used to go to Bath on a regular basis to watch it. Oh, yeah, I got you. Exeter Chiefs, that's it. It's just north of Exeter, isn't it, Bath? Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful part of the world, that is Bath. It's not far from Bristol, is it? So you've got a bigger city there if you need to be. But yeah, I was down there, I don't know, maybe 6, 7 months ago. We came up from Winchester, and I usually go that way, go on the M4 and then go up Bath way. 'Tis stunning. We are lucky in the UK, really. We have some beautiful towns and cities. If you've ever been to York, another amazing place, York. In fact, where I live in Shrewsbury, beautiful as well. Shrewsbury was where Charles Darwin was born and where he went to school. In fact, I've been in his classroom on a number of occasions. It's our library now, but if you go up to the top floor, you can see where Charles Darwin's classroom was. And crop circles as well. You know they're not by aliens, don't you? I know my brother was a tree surgeon, and he made some of them once where I live, and they were all over the news talking about were they aliens, and my brother was going, no, they're not. But now we are lucky. Move to Australia. I like Australia. I've never been to Australia, but I am a massive cricket fan. So Australia is on my list. You miss all the old stuff, yeah. We are lucky in the UK, yeah. I mean, if you know the old buildings now, we are lucky in the UK. We do have some nice history. And same, you know, I lived down in Winchester for 2 years, which in Winchester used to be the capital city before London. And if you go to Winchester Cathedral, it's 900 years old. And there was one before that in the same place, which was 400 years old. And you've heard of people like St Swithin's. We have St Swithin's Day in there. There's loads of bones of kings and queens that are buried in Winchester Cathedral. It's stunning. And you miss the pubs as well, and the fireplace and the darts and the Guinness. Yeah, it's a nice drink, the Guinness. I had a can of Guinness. Hotel, I had a pint of Guinness about a week ago. I popped to the cemetery. My mum passed away 12 months ago, so I popped to the cemetery and we walked past a little pub, a little black and white pub, and I dropped her some flowers and go in there and have a pint of Guinness and a whiskey. But yeah, the UK is beautiful for buildings. Absolutely stunning. I mean, you've got the school where Charles Darwin used to go, and right opposite we've got a castle from 1050. Yeah, we're spoilt in Shrewsbury where I live. Absolutely spoilt. What are we doing? Edinburgh's a place I've never been, but I plan to go there in the summer. Never been to Edinburgh. Same again, Edinburgh, absolutely stunning. They have the Edinburgh Tattoo, which is like a big military band event every year. So we may go for there this year. But yeah, we love our little pubs in the UK. Remember to give me a shout. How far are you from Edinburgh, bud? I know my daughter's a big Harry Potter fan. And wrote Harry Potter around there, didn't she? Oh, you're not far away. I've never been to Edinburgh before, but I have. I've got a cousin. I think he was in Edinburgh before, but he's moved a lot further north. I think right up into the sticks. So yes, we got Burns night Thursday, haven't we? So I'll be picking my haggis up probably Wednesday, I think. And washing it down with half a bottle of something nice. I bought a new bottle of Chag yesterday. I had that delivered. Flipping great deals from Amazon, I've got to say. £33. That was cheap for a bottle of Chag. They're usually quite expensive. So yeah, Burns night. I like Burns night. Yeah, I've seen it, you know, seen plenty of pictures of it and all that, but it does look stunning. Edinburgh does. So I think we'll likely go there this year. I think we're going to go down to Winchester for Easter. Visit my sister down there. We usually stop in a hotel there. We're going to go abroad maybe August, Greece or something, and then maybe the latter part of the year, September, October time, we'll go to Edinburgh. Cambridge is another one on my list as well. I've driven through it a few times, but that's another place for the buildings as well. Stunning. We are lucky in the UK. We're rich with history. York. Yeah, I used to live near York. My stepdad was in the army, and we were in Catterick, based in Catterick for 2 years, which is just up the road from York. So we often, but yeah, I was a young, I was about 8 years old, 7 or 8 or 9 or something like that when we ended up there. But yeah, same again, York. Chester as well, another great place, Chester. Lots of black and white sort of Tudor buildings. If we're going to get a trade here, see, I'm looking here. We seem to be working in a channel. My slight concern is at the moment, this is the NQ, went a bit sideways and then we're slowly working down. So whether we're just testing the... Excuse me a sec. Yeah, I'm not sure whether we're testing the underside here. I have a feeling we're going to have a break here, and if we do, right there, Morocco without paying taxes from trade. Oh, you don't pay taxes in Morocco? Dubai's the best place. Yeah, that's my dream, to go to Dubai. In fact, I was watching a video of a woman who took a family over there. I think she made a video 11 days, and she was going over all the costs. And I think it worked out around about £5,500 a month, and she had a two-bedroom small house which she rented. That was including buying a new car, a monthly payment new car. That was all her bills, internet. They paid £125 a month for this entertainment sort of pass, where they could go to all these 5-star hotel pools and a bunch of other stuff. All insurances, medical insurances, and it was about that was childcare as well. So everything, including food, and she was paying around about £5,500 British pounds per month, just for trading. Yeah, so that's part of the attraction for me. Now this is interesting. Do I really want to go long here? There is a second entry long, but we're getting a bit sideways here, so you could get stung. So I'm sitting tight there. There is a second entry long. But I don't like this. This is concerning me. But yeah, it's my dream to go to Dubai. Maybe even just for a few years. 3 to 5 years. Have a bit of excitement. Enjoy the beaches and the shopping and the sunshine, and tax-free as well. That's a biggie. I'm not a fan of this. Let's see how this finishes. Could go up a bit more, actually. I have an inside job also in Morocco. I have a real estate agency. But if you want some ideas, investment in Morocco, you're really welcome. Yeah, Dubai's my dream. Okay, so there is a second entry long there. I don't know. I'm not a fan of this sideways stuff. It does look like it's working. To Marrakesh, have you? Oh, lovely. Okay, so at the moment, I'm kind of glad I stayed out of that. It's clearly congested. There's no argument there. It may work, but it is congested. So you've had sort of a double top there, so you just don't know. There's nothing else I can see there, but yeah, look at that. So if you took that, you just got shafted. There's no way that's not going to get stopped out. Let me have a look. So if you went a tick above there, yeah, you wouldn't have got nothing of that. Even if you went on the nail, you'd have still only got a half a point. And it got stopped out. I did look at that, and you know, it kind of looks like it's going sideways and working, but that's just congested. It's got risk written all over that for me personally. So see if we are coming down here, which I think there's a fair chance we are. It could continue down and attempt at these lows. Excuse me. Still looking on the daily. It's a bit either or at the moment. It could push up. It could close up here, or it could come down and try and retest the bottom of this, the top of this range. So it doesn't really give much away at the moment. It could be sort of a two-tiered channel there, but that's possible. Let's see, it may push up. What time is it? Okay, I'm just going to take a quick 5-minute break. Let's put that on there. A quick 5-minute break, make a quick cup of tea, and I'll be back. Okay. What we're doing now. Right, are we coming down? Let's have a look. So if you look at the NQ, sort of have this channel. We had a break, we could come down. I'm not sure what's going on here. Channel break. It's a big ass bar, that is. Leg. Possible second entry long. Possible break below here. It's hard to say. Okay, so there is a possibility that this is pushing higher. Possible second entry long. It's just hard to say, isn't it? You don't know whether it's going to trigger and then create a failed second entry long. Possibly a leg and a leg. If this pushes up above here, then I'd say it's going up. You just never know. I'm waiting for a failed second entry short. Yeah, see how that's... There's a second entry. It's hard to say at the moment, see? There's a leg and a leg. We could continue higher, but I'm not convinced we're necessarily going to. I'm a bit on the fence here. What I will say is there's a second entry long which is triggered and it's struggled to get above this, so this may come down. If it does come down and stop that out, we're coming down. But at the moment, we haven't got a failure there. It could do either or this. But what I will say is we seem to have having a bit of a downtrend, but whether that's over or not is hard to say. But I think whether it pushes up above there very much decides whether this goes up or down. Because there is a second entry long which is triggered. And there's also, you may even sort of say there's a lower high there if people are thinking about coming down, which is triggered and nearly stopped out. So leg and a leg, there's two legs out, break out of this, depending on how you look at this, whether you think it's a two-tiered channel. It could be. This is interesting. Let's see if this does push up. Okay, so if there are any stops there, but same again, we're still a bit dormant. And a range day, bar low, sell high. Yeah. Does look like that. Trouble is, if we've come from these lows, then you'd think we'd push higher, and maybe we're going to. But I'd like to find a higher low, really. There is a possible failed second entry short, failed second entry long. I'd like to see that trigger and push up for a higher low in this to look just as good. If this does push up, then great. But it'd be nice to have a setup on here as well. Trouble is, when it's doing this, it could really go either way. And if it does get above there, then happy days. But it's struggling at the moment. Yeah. Yes, if we don't retest that one, it just might mean it's the top of a range. 2 legs back, higher low, going up. It does look like it's starting to push up. Unfortunately, there is 2 legs back. We'd want a higher low, really. So we've come down to these levels and lower, so we've pushed up. It does look like it might be a 2-tiered channel push up, working this top tier. But this really could go either way. If you're a fan of this downtrend, which it may be, then you may be thinking about going short. But with this, lag, I think it's more likely to go up, but you just never quite know. I'm not convinced enough to think about whether I want to go long or short. 10,000 tick chart, massive uptrend, you reckon? Yeah. So what I'd like to do was to trigger a short here and then have something bullish to stop it out, because obviously if you hit stops on your way up or down, it obviously gives you that little bit more momentum. As stops are coming out, it's pushing you in more in your direction, hopefully. But it's looking a bit wicky. I don't like these wicks, they unnerve me. Let's see if we can trigger that short there. So try go once, you can call that a failure really, can't you? Try go once, try twice. I'd like to see that trigger. If that triggers, at least we've got an option for a higher low if that decides it wants to push up. Trouble is, it's just looking a bit not nice, is it? It could do anything, this. Okay, so that failure's triggered. So leg, maybe a higher low. Okay, let's get an order ready.
Order submitted. Order cancelled.
What I'd rather do is
Order
put
submitted.
a buy order above that and take it as an engulfing.
Order cancelled. Order submitted.
This just looks like it's running out of steam to me.
Order cancelled.
I mean, this could just drop. It's trying multiple times to get up, and each time it's dropping. So there we go. So I'm glad that didn't trigger. Okay, this may look a bit better. That might be a failure.
Order submitted.
I don't like this.
Order cancelled.
I just don't like this picture. It's making me nervous taking that trade. Now, ordinarily, 2 legs back and a high low, I'd probably take that trade ordinarily. But I don't like what I'm seeing here, all these wicks. It looks like it's trapping longs to me. It could drop. So I'm staying out of this. If that picture changes and pushes above here, then I may get back in with a limit order, but I just don't like what I'm seeing at the moment.
Order submitted.
See if it comes and gets me.
Order submitted.
There we go. Oh, this is looking better now. If it breaks above there, that'll be a bit better. Okay, we're in and committed. I like to get out there. I like to get out of the top. I'm just going to take... I should be fine there anyway, I think.
Target filled.
Okay, everything's closed. It should. Nothing there, nothing there. I like to get out just at the top here. You just never know. We're quite far away from the EMA there. We're not far away from the EMA there. We're quite far from here, so we could get a pullback. So I usually like to get out where the tops of these bars are finishing, not the wicks. So I'm happy just to shortchange myself a tick or two, just to get out. Cheers, Sam. Thanks, mate. It's probably going to work, but you know when we're quite far away from the EMA. So let's have a look. Yeah, so an extra tick, 2 ticks, it would have been okay, I think. Yeah, comfortably. Okay, that's fine. There's a lot of support here, so it just makes me a bit nervous. There's a lot of support we're going into there. We're quite far away from there. You took the same trade. Nice one, I see. Is that trade? Yeah. We're quite far away here, aren't we? So it could come back for a pullback. So I'd just rather get out, save myself a couple of ticks, than come back, spook you, and then carry on again. You know what I mean? Cheers, guys. It was all right, actually, wasn't it? But at the time, a little bit congested there, and you weren't sure there. But once that started to push up, it is giving us the right signals. We got 2 legs back, nice big bullish bar. The EMA starting to tip up. Prices seem to be holding, so at some point you've got to pull the trigger, otherwise you just tend to miss out. But that'll do me. Finally, channel breaks. Yeah. Because it is quite choppy sometimes. It's a bit hard to read. See, we got a touch there, touch there, touch there. That seems to be quite working. So you just don't know whether we're going to come down and, you know, try and test the lows. But then I'm looking left and thinking there's support there, so maybe this is the bottom of the range. So maybe this is a failed breakout and we aren't coming down low. Your chart is different. Why didn't you take it? Why didn't I take it? My chart is different to yours. Oh, that's what. Oh, I see what you mean. Is anybody else's chart different than mine? You have some wicks. I'm not sure whether I've reloaded my historic. Does everybody's chart look like mine or slightly different? Mine's the same. What you can do, bud, if you're using Ninja Trader, is just right-click and you probably know that anyway, don't you? And just reload all historic. I usually do that every morning. But often, if you don't do that, it is different. Don't ask me why. But we got two. So we got this channel up. We got 2 legs back and a higher low. It was just an R in there because I didn't like these wicks. And sometimes when you see those wicks, market's got a habit of surprising you, and it looked like it was going up. So I'm thinking, is the surprise going to be to the downside? Same for me. So Robin, yours is the same as mine. Yes. Okay, so it's a high low. Plus 1.5. Brilliant. Yes, I'd say it's yours. Mine is slightly different. Have you reloaded yours exponential, have you? I mean, from what I've gathered, and I've chatted with the email with Mac about this. You haven't. Okay, might be because of that. And he said to me, just trade your chart as you see it. Sometimes, I've missed trades before that I've seen other people, and I'm thinking, I didn't see that. And then sometimes I've had trades at other people, so I think yours the same, yeah. So I think you just got to take what you see, haven't you, really? So we got a 1.5. It did go for 2 points, but my slight issue is that I always usually like to get out where the main bars are, not the stems, because there's clearly support there, and that just makes me nervous. Sometimes if we come up to support, we may come back a bit before we push higher. I'd rather get out on that first push. I'm not a fan of it, waiting for it to come back, because you just never quite know. So at least we got something today anyway. $150 times 2. It's a quick $300. Yeah, I got no issues with losing the 2 ticks, just to be on the safe side. So most of the time I go for 2 points, but if I think there's not a massive amount of room, I'd rather just guarantee myself a 1.5. You've not reloaded, okay? So that might be why. So it seems like there probably was some trades around today. That's not everyone's cup of tea, but I see those quite a lot. And because of the overshoot, and we come back and retest it 4 times, I'd at least expect to get that back to the EMA. And not only that, we're ranging a bit. So I did drop it in, but on a limit order. Unfortunately, it never came back and got me. That now doesn't look too bad. But I've taken trades like that before, and they come down to about here and break, so because of the support. So although at the time, now I kind of see it, but at the time, at the end of the day, you've got to make decisions, haven't they? Most of the time, hopefully we get them right, but on occasion. But if I have got a doubt and I take it, I end up punishing myself then, so I'd rather just avoid that. So what time is it? So we're going 2 hours, 35 minutes, so I might knock it on the head in a minute. So I think that's probably just a spike in a channel, really. Nothing more, I think. I don't think it's a bigger channel. It might be a bigger T. It depends when we get up there. We'll soon find out. But for now, probably just a spike in a channel with 2 legs of correction. High, low, and up we go. Normally, that's the type of trade I love. And in most cases, well, in a lot of cases, when we have that, we usually have another leg as well. When we get a really nice 2-legged correction and a higher low, we'll usually get another one. So I wouldn't be surprised if we got up there. Well, there's no reason why we shouldn't. So I pretty much expect to get up there. So look, not reloaded. Don't trade more. Take the green day. Yeah, I probably will, mate. Usually I do around about the 2 to 3 hours, something like that. But I always like finishing on a green day. But yeah, I'm going to knock it on the head today. So we're up a point and a half. Over 2 accounts. So it's a quick $300. So shame about that one. But there you go. Some you miss, some you do. So I'm just wondering, does that look like a lot of volume today? It's not a huge amount, is it? So let's just save my chart. 22nd, 1st, 24th. That is the yes. Well, that as well. Yeah, see, I wasn't a massive fan of that in all fairness. Although it kind of fitted in there. It's not very clear, is it? Save charts. What date are we again? 22nd. 1st, 24th. And that was the NQ. So, there's been a bit of chatter today on the on this. This is the Apex Discord. What was I looking at a bit ago? Yeah, I like him. I got a photograph in London with him. What's his name? He's a Kangol guy, wasn't he? Let's have a look. There's a few people saying they had rhythmic issues. Just made a little update in the Discord whenever you get a chance to check it out. Let's have a little look. Diddly. How far from, mate? Just around about here. Sitting flat on the day. Yeah, close. Withdrawing. Would like to hit 55,000. How far do I need to look back, bud? Or is it under... just made a little update in the score when you get a chance. Update is under updates or what? I know you have already had a payout, so I applied your role. Applied my role. Oh, it's in announcements. Okay, I'll move it up so I can see it. Let's have a look. I'll have a look in a bit, bud. I'll have a look in a bit. It's in announcements, isn't it? Yeah, I'll have a look when I mark my chart up after. Thanks, Tyler. How are you getting on with... have you had any issues with Rhythmic? There's a few people. I had one last week, but I seem to have not had it again. There's been a few people mention it today in the... I haven't had... Not at all, no. I haven't had your... Discord on the last few days. I've had the Apex one because there's been a few problems, so I've just been trying to monitor it and find out what's going on. But yeah, I think as long as you keep on top of it. I've added this to mine anyway, so if there's a trade live, we get that red cross. So the past few times it's been all gravy for me. Okay, good on you. I've had issues big time. Oh god, I hope Apex do something. I think they need to. I think Apex need to address it. Perhaps they will. It's down 500 on my accounts. Oh man, if it is an Apex issue, if anything, Speedy, just open a ticket with them, mate. The more people that have problems and open tickets, the more chance. Now it's down. Nice to get back a bit. Yeah, open a ticket, mate. The more people open tickets with problems, the more chance they got of doing something about it. I'm hoping at some point they get rid of Rhythmic and find some other option because it's a ball ache. And I feel sorry for people like, well, depending on what exactly has happened with Wilson, but if it is because of Rhythmic, he's lost all his accounts, that's unacceptable. I don't think I'd be throwing myself out of a bloody window if I lost $40,000 in accounts. So, Yeah, thanks for that, Tyler. I'll have a look at announcements later, bud. I'm just gonna I'll go and have my dinner, and I'm gonna go and mark my charts up when I come back. So I appreciate all your comments. I left that one just because of this. You just never know when it's going to trigger you and have a break because of this. That one, we didn't really have a channel so much at the moment. It was just a couple of legs, an overshoot, a retest to the tops, and then down. So I missed that one. That one, I ummed and ahed about that one, and that one as well. It is 2 legs back, and it's kind of a triple test, but I always think look left. And you just don't know whether it's going to come down and just turn here, in which case you wouldn't have got your points. So that's fine anyway. So it is about being picky and selective, and I think I made the right decision anyway. That certainly went up and made a new high, did what it was supposed to. Whether it's coming down or not, I don't know, but there we go. So 0.5 for me today, $150 over 2 accounts, so that's perfect for me. I'm more than happy with that. Everything's closed down, nothing's where it should do. So that's me done for the day. So I appreciate your comments. Monday done, nice green Monday. Always nice to have Mondays and Fridays in the green. So I appreciate your comments and a nice chat again today. So if you carry on trading, best of luck. I hope you get a good setup. Failing that, have a great evening. Stay safe, and I will talk to you all again same time tomorrow. So bye for now.